Hi there, in this video we're going to highlight how AgilePoint's generative AI can automatically create application interfaces leveraging a database as our data source. So to get started, we'll move over to the app builder. And as you're seeing here, AgilePoint is asking me the type of app I'd like to build. Now for the purposes of time, I will build a form-based application, but everything you're about to see will also apply to a process. Now our use case for today is going to be a product inventory management application. So I'll give it a name and drop it into a category. Now next, AgilePoint is asking me if I'd like to create a widget form and mentions that it's not typical. So in light of that, I'm going to go ahead and leave not required selected. Now next, AgilePoint is asking how I'd like to use AI to create my form. And there's a couple of major categories here. If I wanted AgilePoint to auto-generate everything, the UI, the optional process, and a data store, I leave option 1 selected. But since I have an existing database table that I'd like to reuse and create a new UI on top of that, we're going to select auto-generate from a data source. Now here you're seeing a number of different data sources that I can use as the basis for my application. We've covered all of these sources in good detail, so if any of these apply to you, please do feel free to view the correlating video. Okay, so as a next step, we're going to specify how we're connecting to our database and the table that we'd like to use. So getting started, we'll give our data source a name, Product Inventory Management, and how I'm connecting to our databases. Now in this case today, what we're going to be using is a sample table provided by Microsoft called AdventureWorks. So I've specified the schema. We'll select the primary entity being product. Now moving over to the field section, you're going to see here that any mandatory fields have been auto-selected. Any optional fields can be unselected if desired, but you'll notice here down below that I have a couple of fields with a gear icon to the right. This indicates they have a foreign key relationship with other tables, and if I'd like to change it, I can do so here. Okay, so as a final step here, we'll bring along our child table, which is going to be product inventory. Okay, so if you followed along with other generative AI videos, you know this interface gives me an ability to refine the suggestions that have come back from either my external data source or my generative AI job. So here, everything is coming across pretty well. AgilePoint has gone off to the database and retrieved the appropriate AgilePoint field type to drive optimal validation. Now in this case here, there are two fields that deal with currency or dollars, so we can go ahead and reclassify those to type of currency. And as I'm scrolling down below, you'll notice that a few of the field types are single select lookups. So this goes back to having that foreign key relationship for a few of the columns we mentioned earlier. In these scenarios, AgilePoint will intelligently auto-generate lookups for those tables. And then finally, down at the bottom for our child table, product inventory, that has been suggested as a type of subform. And as you're seeing here, all of the columns from that child table. Now down at the bottom, you're seeing here an option to show the line breaks. This will show how the fields on my form are grouped by default. But in my case, I have a layout that I'd like to apply to ensure continuity in moving from an older system. So in that scenario, let me quickly show that layout. So here you're seeing I have a mix of 4-column layout, 2 columns, and then of course my subform across the bottom. So let's apply that layout. Okay, so I've just selected that layout from my local machine, and in just a moment, we'll see that new layout applied. Okay, so our layout has been applied. And if we scroll towards the top, you'll see here we have that 4-column, 4-column, 2-column, and then our child table all the way across, precisely as our mockup prescribed. Okay, so here I can add other AgilePoint elements like connection strings to external systems, repositories for file attachments, CSS, JavaScript, and etc. For now, we're going to go ahead and skip through this. For this application, we'll go with the default application security, though again, we can always change this later. And now what you're seeing on screen are all of the application elements that AgilePoint has automatically created. We have a new form where we can enter the details of new products, an update form to modify existing records, one view, all products, and a lookup for that view. Now, again, bear in mind we can always add additional views and search screens and things of that nature, but for the interest of time, let's go ahead and click OK. Okay, so in the final stages here, again, I can add additional integrations, rules, or look and feel, but for the interest of time, let's go ahead and save and check this in, publish it, and launch the application. Now, as one final step here, if I did have additional view options, I could set my default view here. Since that doesn't apply, we'll go ahead and publish and launch the application. Okay, so now we're in the application and everything is looking pretty good. As you can see here, all of the records are now being shown on screen. For any one of these applications, I can always view or make a modification. And bringing this up here in edit mode, recall those single select lookups. Now you're seeing that all of those lookups were intelligently auto-created and retrieving data from the other related tables where there was a foreign key relationship. So in summary, what you've just seen here is how AgilePoint, powered by generative AI, can help you quickly and with just a few clicks easily modernize interfaces and systems based on an external data source, helping to drive an intuitive user experience with improved validation to ensure high quality data. So with that, that's going to conclude the content for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon.